Welcome to Auto Car Line. Today we are taking you back to the golden era of American muscle cars, where raw power, aggressive styling and pure driving thrill ruled the streets. Among all the legendary machines of the late 1960s and early 70s, one car stood out as a true icon of affordability and performance. We are talking about none other than the Plymouth Road Runner, a car that was built with one purpose in mind: to deliver muscle car performance to the common man without unnecessary luxury or high costs. This car didn't just roar down the streets, it also carried a unique character that made it unforgettable. The story begins in 1968 when Chrysler's Plymouth division decided to create a muscle car that was stripped down to the basics yet packed with thrilling performance. At that time, cars like the Dodge Charger, Chevrolet Camaro and Ford Mustang were dominating the muscle car scene, but most were getting expensive, with extra features and fancy interiors. Plymouth saw a gap. What about the young car enthusiast who wanted speed and power but couldn't afford a luxury muscle machine? Their answer was the Plymouth Road Runner, a car that was simple, light, powerful and fun. One of the most unique elements of this car was its branding. Plymouth actually licensed the famous Warner Brothers cartoon character, the Road Runner. For $50,000, they bought the rights to use the name, and even spent $10,000 more to create a horn that sounded exactly like the beep beep of the cartoon bird. This gave the car instant personality, making it stand out in a market full of serious and heavy muscle machines. It was affordable, cool, and fun, something young buyers instantly connected with. The design of the Road Runner was simple yet bold. Built on the Plymouth Belvedere platform, it had a tough, muscular body with clean lines and vibrant paint options. The famous Road Runner cartoon decal on the sides and the special horn made it more than just a car, it was a statement. Inside, the car was very basic. Plymouth removed most luxury features, keeping the interior minimal to save weight and cost. No fancy trims, no high-end comfort, just the essentials that a driver needed to control the beast under the hood. And speaking of the beast, let's talk about the engines that made the Road Runner legendary. The standard engine was a 383 cubic inch V8, which already gave solid performance. But for true thrill seekers, there was the option of the 426 Hemi, one of the most famous engines in American history, producing around 425 horsepower. Then came the 446 Pack, with three 2-barrel carburetors, delivering brutal torque and acceleration. The Road Runner could sprint from 0 to 60 in under 6 seconds, which in the late 60s was an absolutely crazy number for a car that was marketed as affordable. The combination of low weight, raw power, and simple engineering made it a drag strip hero and a street legend. By 1970, Plymouth decided to take the Road Runner to the next level, and thus was born the Plymouth Superbird. This version was designed specifically for NASCAR racing. With its aerodynamic nose cone and huge rear wing, the Superbird looked like something from the future. Under the hood, it carried the mighty 426 Hemi, making it unstoppable on the race tracks. In fact, it was so good that NASCAR eventually had to change the rules to keep it from dominating. The Superbird became one of the most iconic muscle cars ever built, not only for its racing success but also for its wild design. Today, it is considered one of the most collectible and expensive classic cars in the world. Culturally, the Plymouth Road Runner became more than just a car. It became a symbol of youth, fun and rebellion. While other cars were adding luxury and moving away from their raw roots, the Road Runner reminded everyone what a true muscle car should be: loud, fast, and affordable. It gave thousands of young Americans the chance to own a car that could burn rubber and win races, all while making them smile with its cartoon-inspired charm. But like all great stories, the golden age did not last forever. By the mid-1970s, the world began to change. Insurance costs skyrocketed for muscle cars, new emission laws started to limit engine performance, and then came the oil crisis, which made big gas-guzzling engines less practical. The Road Runner was hit hard. Year by year, its power reduced, and slowly it lost the magic that made it legendary. By the late 1970s, the Road Runner had become just another name, and by the early 1980s, production ended. Still, the legacy of the Plymouth Road Runner never died. Car enthusiasts around the world continued to admire it as one of the purest muscle cars ever built. Collectors pay huge amounts to own an original Road Runner, and if it's a 1970 Superbird, the price can reach millions of dollars. Car shows and classic rallies always feature the Road Runner, and even today, hearing the roar of a 426 Hemi or the sight of that massive Superbird wing brings goosebumps to every car lover. The Plymouth Road Runner proved that a muscle car didn't need to be overcomplicated. It didn't need luxury interiors or flashy features. What it needed was heart, power, attitude and accessibility. That is why it became a legend, because it was built for the people, yet it performed like a champion. So when we look back at the history of muscle cars, the Plymouth Road Runner holds a very special place. It was the car that gave muscle to the masses, the car that kept the spirit of speed alive for everyday drivers, and the car that combined raw horsepower with a playful cartoon spirit. Even decades later, its charm and power remain unmatched. Thank you for watching Auto Car Line. If you enjoyed this journey into the world of the Plymouth Road Runner, make sure to subscribe for more classic legends, modern supercars, and the latest auto news. Because here at Auto Car Line, we keep the passion for cars alive.